Lorraine used to skip breakfast. I thought skipping meals might help me lose weight, she once told me, eyes downcast. At 66, living alone on a fixed retirement income, she tried her best to control her type 2 diabetes with whatever she could afford. Some days, it was a plain slice of bread. Other days, just a cup of tea. But the blood sugar spikes kept coming. One afternoon, during our follow-up, I gently asked her to try something different. Just a small handful of peanuts in the morning. Nothing fancy, no sugar, no honey coating, just plain roasted peanuts. She looked at me like I was joking. But 2 weeks later, Lorraine returned smiling. I don't feel shaky mid-morning anymore. And my numbers? More stable. Who knew something so cheap could help? I've seen this story play out countless times over the past 25 years. As a diabetes specialist, I've walked alongside thousands of older adults living with high blood sugar, many of them juggling medications, grocery bills, and exhaustion. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Food doesn't need to be expensive to be powerful. I'm Dr. Jonathan. For the past 25 years, I've walked alongside thousands of older adults, living with diabetes, listening, guiding, and learning with them. And today, I want to help you discover the affordable, everyday foods that can help you take control of your blood sugar one simple bite at a time. That's why I want to share with you 5 of the most affordable nuts that can help regulate blood sugar, lower inflammation, and keep you feeling full without the crash. Backed by science and real stories like Lorraine's, these aren't just snacks. They're small steps towards stability, and maybe even joy, in your daily routine. Let's begin with one you probably already have in your pantry. Most people don't realize it, but peanuts are one of the most underrated tools in managing type 2 diabetes, especially for older adults on a budget. They're everywhere, they're cheap, and yet they're often overlooked in favor of more expensive superfoods. But make no mistake, peanuts are a blood sugar stabilizer in disguise. Let's start with the basics. Peanuts are technically legumes, not true nuts, but nutritionally, they behave much like tree nuts. They're packed with healthy monounsaturated fats, plant-based protein, and a surprising amount of fibrera trio that works together to slow the release of glucose into your bloodstream after meals. And the science backs it up. A study published in the British Journal of Nutrition found that when individuals with type 2 diabetes consumed peanuts or peanut butter in the morning, their blood glucose levels remained more stable throughout the day. The fiber and fat help prevent the sudden post-meal spikes that leave so many people feeling tired, irritable, or foggy. But the benefit goes beyond blood sugar. Peanuts are also high in magnesium, a mineral many diabetics are deficient in. Magnesium helps improve insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammation, and support nerve health. Particularly important if you're dealing with diabetic neuropathy. Now, let me share how it helped one of my patients. Stanley, a retired bus driver in his early 70s, came to me after years of morning crashes. I eat cereal, he said, but I'm hungry again by 10, and sometimes I feel dizzy. We made one simple change. I asked him to pair his breakfast with just a small handful of plain peanuts. Within a month, Stanley reported he no longer had the mid-morning slump. It's like someone smoothed out the roller coaster, he told me. His fasting glucose improved, and he even lost a few pounds without trying, just from feeling fuller longer and snacking less. The best part? Peanuts are affordable. You don't need to buy fancy organic brands or peanut butter with added flax. A small bag of plain, unsalted peanuts can last a week and cost less than your morning coffee. Just remember, moderation matters. A small handful, about 1 ounce, is plenty. Choose dry roasted or raw peanuts with no added sugar or hydrogenated oils. Peanut butter can also be a great option as long as the ingredients list is clean and short. So before you skip breakfast or reach for that sugary granola bar, consider something simpler. A few peanuts could be the steadying force your body needs. Next, let's talk about another overlooked seed that's just as powerful and just as inexpensive. They might be tiny, but sunflower seeds carry a nutritional punch that can make a real difference for people managing diabetes. And the best part? They're incredibly affordable and easy to find at nearly any grocery store or local market. Sunflower seeds are rich in several nutrients that directly support blood sugar regulation. First, they're one of the best natural sources of magnesium, a mineral that plays a critical role in how your body uses insulin. In fact, studies have shown that people with higher magnesium intake tend to have lower fasting glucose and better overall insulin sensitivity. These seeds are also packed with vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that helps reduce inflammation. And chronic inflammation is something I often see in older adults with long-term diabetes. It quietly damages blood vessels, nerves, and organs over time. Just a small handful of sunflower seeds can help counter some of that stress on the body. But what really makes sunflower seeds useful is how slowly they digest. Thanks to their fat, protein, and fiber content, they help prevent the rapid absorption of sugar into the bloodstream. This means fewer sugar spikes and crashes, and more stable energy throughout the day. Let me tell you about Carol, a 69-year-old retired school librarian. She came to me frustrated that even small snacks were throwing off her glucose numbers. "I can't even eat crackers without spiking," she said. So, I suggested she try replacing her usual mid-afternoon snack with a small portion of sunflower seeds, unsalted and dry roasted. Within 2 weeks, Carol saw a noticeable difference. Not only were her blood sugar readings more stable, but she also felt fuller for longer. "It's like I've finally found a snack I don't have to fear," she told me with a smile. What's more, sunflower seeds are extremely versatile. Sprinkle them on salads, stir them into yogurt, or eat a tablespoon straight from the bag. They're shelf-stable, portable, and don't require refrigeration. Ideal for seniors who want simple, low-maintenance nutrition. A word of caution: go for unsalted versions. Many packaged sunflower seeds come heavily salted or flavored, which can contribute to high blood pressure. Stick with plain, dry roasted, or raw options to get the full benefits without the additives. If you've been struggling to find a satisfying snack that doesn't mess with your glucose levels, sunflower seeds may be the quiet hero you've been overlooking. Simple, humble, but surprisingly powerful. Next, we'll explore a nut that often gets dismissed as too expensive, but I'll show you how to enjoy it for just pennies a day. When people think of walnuts, they often imagine something expensive, tucked away in a gourmet aisle. But here's a secret I share with many of my patients. You don't have to buy whole, pristine walnuts to get the benefits. In fact, the broken pieces, often sold as walnut halves and pieces, or even baking walnuts, are not only cheaper, but just as nutrient-dense. Walnuts are one of the few plant-based sources rich in alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a type of omega-3 fatty acid that helps reduce inflammation and improve heart health. For people with diabetes, this matters more than you might think. Chronic inflammation makes it harder for insulin to work properly, leading to higher blood sugar and greater risk of complications. Walnuts also contain a good amount of fiber and protein, both of which help slow digestion and moderate the release of glucose into the bloodstream. This makes them a powerful ally for keeping blood sugar levels stable after meals. One of my patients, Gregory, a 71-year-old retired landscape designer, had struggled with late-night cravings. "After dinner, I always want something sweet," he admitted. His blood sugar would spike at night and remain elevated into the morning. I suggested he try a small bowl of Greek yogurt with a sprinkle of chopped walnuts instead of reaching for cookies. A month later, Gregory came back for a follow-up, almost amazed. "It worked," he said. My glucose readings in the morning are finally under 130, and I actually feel satisfied at night. All from a bag of broken walnuts that cost him less than $5 and lasted 2 weeks. Research also supports this. A study published in the journal Diabetes, Obesity and Metabolism found that daily walnut consumption improved endothelial function, the way blood vessels respond, and reduced insulin resistance in adults with type 2 diabetes. And those benefits didn't require large amounts. Just 1 ounce per day, about a small handful, made a measurable difference. To get the most value, buy your walnuts in bulk or look for the pieces variety. They're often less expensive than whole nuts and work just as well in oatmeal, salads, smoothies, or as a simple topping on fruit. Store them in the fridge or freezer to preserve their healthy fats and prevent spoilage. As always, keep an eye on portion size. Walnuts are calorie-dense, so about 1 ounce per day is enough to deliver the benefits without overdoing it. If you've been avoiding walnuts because of price, now you know the truth. You can enjoy their full power at a fraction of the cost. All it takes is a little creativity and a willingness to embrace imperfection. Next, we'll turn to a nut that's often overlooked entirely, yet holds surprising benefits for blood sugar and nighttime stability. If there's one seed I wish more people with diabetes knew about, it's pumpkin seeds. These small, flat green seeds, also called pepitas, are often tossed aside after carving a pumpkin. But they're actually one of nature's most quietly powerful foods for blood sugar control. Pumpkin seeds are packed with nutrients that specifically benefit those managing type 2 diabetes. They're rich in magnesium, a mineral involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, including glucose metabolism and insulin regulation. Just 1 ounce of pumpkin seeds provides nearly 40% of the daily magnesium requirement for older adults. They're also high in tryptophan, which the body uses to produce serotonin and melatonin. Why does this matter? Because quality sleep is often overlooked in blood sugar control. Poor sleep raises cortisol levels, which in turn increases insulin resistance. A small handful of pumpkin seeds before bed may gently support more restful sleep and indirectly help maintain better glucose levels overnight. Let me share the story of Raymond, a 68-year-old retired pharmacist who came to see me about his unpredictable morning blood sugars. His evening meals were balanced, and he wasn't eating sugary snacks. But his fasting glucose was consistently in the 150s. We looked closely at his routine and discovered he often had trouble falling asleep, and when he did, it was restless. I recommended a new bedtime habit. Instead of tea or crackers, try a tablespoon of roasted pumpkin seeds about 30 minutes before bed. Within 3 weeks, Raymond noticed a difference. He felt calmer in the evenings, fell asleep faster, and most notably, his fasting glucose began trending toward the 120s. I would have never guessed pumpkin seeds could do that, he told me. And they taste good too. Pumpkin seeds are also a great source of zinc, which supports immune health and wound healing, 2 concerns that are especially important for diabetics. Plus, they contain antioxidants like vitamin E and carotenoids, which protect your cells from oxidative stress. When buying pumpkin seeds, look for plain, unsalted versions, either raw or dry roasted. Avoid heavily flavored varieties that are loaded with sodium or sugar. You can add them to salads, oatmeal, roasted vegetables, or enjoy them by the spoonful as a bedtime snack. A single bag can last you weeks and costs less than a meal at a fast food restaurant. In terms of nutritional value for money, pumpkin seeds are one of the best deals you'll find. If you're someone who struggles with blood sugar swings at night or early in the morning, don't overlook these little green gems. Sometimes the most powerful solutions are the simplest, and they've been right in front of us all along. Now, let's talk about one final nut that surprises almost everyone. It's creamy, slightly sweet, and if eaten wisely, can help tame sugar cravings better than most. Cashews often get a bad reputation among people with diabetes. Aren't they too high in carbs? I've been asked more times than I can count. And while it's true that cashews contain slightly more carbohydrates than other nuts, it's the quality and combination of nutrients that make all the difference, especially when consumed in small, mindful amounts. Cashews are rich in heart-healthy monounsaturated fats and contain a unique blend of magnesium, iron, zinc, and plant-based protein. These nutrients work together to improve insulin function, support healthy blood vessels, and help reduce inflammation. Plus, their naturally creamy, slightly sweet taste can be incredibly satisfying, especially when sugar cravings hit. Let me introduce you to Rosa, a 72-year-old former piano teacher who had been battling afternoon sugar crashes for years. "I always want something sweet at 3 p.m., she confessed. Cookies, fruit juice, even candy sometimes. We talked through her options and decided she would try a small handful of plain cashews instead, about 10 to 12 nuts, eaten slowly with a cup of warm tea. When Rosa came back a few weeks later, her cravings had faded. "I don't even think about the cookies anymore," she said with a laugh. "The cashews take the edge off, and I feel more stable." Her afternoon blood sugar readings dropped by nearly 20 points on average, and she no longer felt exhausted before dinner. What's important with cashews is portion control. Because they are slightly higher in carbohydrates, eating too many at once can backfire. But in small amounts, they can actually reduce the desire to binge on sweets or refined carbs, which in the long run is far more damaging to blood sugar levels. Cashews also contain anacardic acid, a compound studied for its potential role in reducing inflammation and improving glucose uptake in muscle tissue. While more research is needed, early findings are promising, especially for older adults with prediabetes or insulin resistance. When choosing cashews, look for unsalted, dry-roasted, or raw versions with no added oils or sugar. Avoid cashews that are honey-roasted or flavored, as they often contain unnecessary sweeteners that cancel out the benefits. Cashews can be added to vegetable stir-fries, blended into sauces, tossed onto salads, or simply enjoyed on their own. Some people even blend soaked cashews into smoothies for a creamy, dairy-free texture that adds a touch of natural sweetness without the spike. And here's the good news for your wallet. Buying cashews in bulk or in pieces instead of whole keeps the cost low. You don't need a lot. Just a small handful a day can go a long way in helping you feel full, calm cravings and keep blood sugar steady. So, if you've been avoiding cashews out of fear or confusion, it's time to give them another look. In the right amount, they're not a problem. They're part of the solution. Now that we've explored all 5, let's take a moment to tie it all together. When most people think about managing diabetes, they imagine pills, needles, or rigid diets. But as you've just seen, sometimes the most effective solutions come from the simplest sources: a handful of peanuts, a spoonful of pumpkin seeds, a sprinkle of chopped walnuts. Each of these 5 affordable nuts brings something unique to the table. Peanuts offer steady energy and fullness. Sunflower seeds provide magnesium and inflammation-fighting antioxidants. Walnuts support heart and brain health with their omega-3s. Pumpkin seeds help regulate blood sugar while gently improving sleep. And cashews, when used wisely, can soothe cravings and calm the body. None of these are expensive. None require a complicated recipe or expensive supplement plan. And yet, they each hold the power to change your day, to smooth your glucose curves, reduce inflammation, improve your mood, and bring stability where there was once uncertainty. I often tell my patients that diabetes isn't about perfection. It's about small, thoughtful choices made every day. Adding just one of these nuts into your routine, maybe as a mid-morning snack, a topping on oatmeal, or a calming treat before bed, can begin to shift your numbers and your confidence. I'm Dr. Jonathan, and after 25 years of walking beside patients just like you, I've learned that hope doesn't always come in a prescription bottle. Sometimes it comes in the palm of your hand. Stay curious, stay gentle with yourself, and never underestimate what a small change can do.